Hey everybody, welcome to the video. It's Saturday, June 27th, 2026. And this footage right here is US military fighter jets striking targets inside of Iran. Missile and drone storage facilities, coastal radar sites at Qasem Island, Zurich, Jos, Bandar Abbas, all those sites, poof, gone, in retaliation for Iran striking commercial vessels. In the Strait of Hormuz, the significance of these targets is that Iran uses a lot of these radar sites to control their drone arsenal. And we know they've got a lot of those drones. So the US military's proportional response was basically saying, okay, you're going to attack commercial ships. Well, a lot of your radar sites, drone and missile storage facilities are going to go bye-bye. And then Iran retaliated to the retaliation. They launched drones at Bahrain, trying to strike the US 5th Fleet Naval Headquarters, which is based there. Let's rewind just a little bit. We know that Iran launched 4 attack drones a couple of days ago at a commercial ship, the Ever Lovely, a Singapore-flagged vessel. They're striking ships near the southern area of Oman. Reports say they also struck another ship that same morning. So the US announced they're expanding the Omani corridor, the southern highway near Oman, which means ships can now go in and out of that critical choke point. But Iran is going to respond, and here's the kicker. Iran stands to gain $90 billion a year if they continue to extort that international waterway. Those drones got ripped out of the sky. Aegis destroyers, F-16s, F-15Es striking those radar sites, just reminding Iran that there is a counterbalance to their extortion. And Iran is basically like, why? We're just the mafia. This is what we do. And the US military is like, cool, we're going to take down your radar sites, IRGC naval headquarters, drone bunker facilities. That's what we do. And then Iran said, as they do, someone high up in the IRGC, potentially even General Tuna himself, the person supposedly in charge of the IRGC. They're keeping that very hush-hush because a lot of those generals have a very short shelf life. They said, the consequences of traveling on unauthorized routes will be the responsibility of the owner, operator, and commander of the vessel. That's not a warning. That is their targeting doctrine published on the internet. They're saying if you don't pay our fee, if you don't come up near our shores, we're going to strike you. Classic mafia boss move. And then the very next morning when they launched drones at Bahrain, the country that hosts the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet headquarters, the building that commands American warships in the entire region. The IRGC's official statement said, retaliation for the warmongering U.S. regime that attacked several points in Jas and Qasem under false pretext. False pretext. Except you're striking commercial vessels because you want to extort an international waterway. But besides that, yeah, definitely false pretext, little buddy. Good job. And the false pretext they're referring to looked like U.S. Air Force fighter jets striking missile and drone storage facilities and coastal radar sites all across the strategic entryways into the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. F-16 Wild Weasels, and likely F-15s, although no confirmed platform names were released, this is just what a potential strike package would look like. The F-16 Wild Weasels go in first. They clear the airspace. Massive cojones on these F-16 Wild Weasel pilots because they're acting as the bait. Essentially the same size cojones as a mountain goat. And yeah, mountain goats have some pretty big cojones. But that's nothing compared to these F-16 Wild Weasel fighter pilots going in first, acting as bait, seeing if any of the radars turn on, clearing the way for the strike package, then likely allowing F-15s in right behind them to clean up, basically mop up the Iranian coastal naval sites. And stay for the global roundup section because we've got some hot topics to cover today. Breaking news from around the globe. I'll be covering that about 3/4 of the way through the video. And we're out doing some traveling right now. We've got the Strait of Hormuz right here behind us. No, not really. We're actually in Boulder City, Nevada. We've got Lake Mead behind us. Nevada is an amazing state, and it's just been an incredible trip enjoying all that Boulder City has to offer, including the Hoover Dam right up the street. So we know Iran struck commercial ships with their drones and then launched at Bahrain. The F-16CJ stepped in as the electronic fly swatter. Here's what the reports say about the actual strikes in Iran. June 26th. 6 land-based U.S. aircraft execute precision strikes against Iranian missile and drone storage locations and coastal radar sites at Sirk, Jos, Manab, Qasem Island, and Bandar Abbas. There are reports that Iran actually hides their drones and ballistic missiles in underground facilities right along the coast. Oh, what? That piece of beach that lifts up and lowers like an elevator? Don't mind that. So many different options for them to hide these in bunker facilities along the coast. Facilities that are now being struck. CENTCOM called this a powerful response. They released the footage, which tells you a few things immediately. The mission succeeded, and the Pentagon wanted Iran and every IRGC commander watching to know exactly what it looks like when these targets are struck, and their little shelf life just goes down a little bit more day by day. CENTCOM didn't name the platforms that were used, but from a fighter pilot's perspective, here's what I see going in. The CAD package, F-16 Wild Weasels, or as we should call them, the F-16 Mountain Goats, based on the size of what these pilots are carrying. You do not send strike aircraft into Iranian coastal airspace without suppressing what's left of their radar and SAM network first. The F-16 Block 5052 Wild Weasel, that's the variant doing tons of work in this AO. It's built exactly for this job. It carries the AGM-88 HARM, a missile that homes on radar emissions. So you turn on your radar, the HARM will find you. Kind of like that Stage 5 clinger from Wedding Crashers. Don't you leave me, because HARM will find you. The Wild Weasel's entire mission is to go in first and make radar operators choose between tracking our jets and surviving. Because if you turn on that radar, you're going to go bye-bye. You might get a lucky shot off. Good luck. And when you see CENTCOM confirm coastal radar sites as strike targets, a Wild Weasel was likely in that package actually taking down that radar site itself. Oh, and real quick, do you guys love energy? Do you love America? Well, obviously, then I've got something for you. I have an energy drink company that we just launched. It's a fighter pilot-owned and operated energy drink company called Max Afterburner Energy. We engineered these drinks to eliminate that crash feeling you get with other energy drinks. Here's the situation, though. Our drinks are currently in production, but you can sign up for our email list right now. It's completely free, and you'll be the first to know when they're in stock. Even better, if you sign up, you'll get weekly Max Afterburner YouTube roundups so you never miss our content and stay in the know with all the wild things happening around the world. The emails will also include discounts for energy drinks and merch, like our t-shirts and hats. Click the link in the description. Go to Max Afterburner Energy.com and sign up to be notified. Don't nosedive, don't crash. Use fighter pilot optimized energy drinks. So once the door is kicked in by the F-16 CJs, the freight train follows. That's the F-15E Strike Eagle, carrying precision-guided munitions against the missile and drone storage facilities, hardened structures that need something with a little punch. When you think about what the F-15E can carry, we're talking 2,000-pound bombs, even 5,000-pound bunker buster bombs going deep into the earth and striking those facilities. 2 crew members, a pilot, and a weapons systems officer in the back seat. The F-15D has been the workhorse in this theater, and teaming up with the CJ Wild Weasel is just a no-brainer. This is likely the go-to strike package on any given day. And then remember the naval backbone. You've got the EA-18G Growler, FA-18s, and guided missile destroyers holding the Omani corridor. Aegis combat systems, SM-3 interceptors for ballistic missiles, standard missiles for cruise missiles and drones, and then the Phalanx close-in weapon system. A radar-guided machine gun that can engage drones and fast attack craft. So many layers are now involved in this situation to keep Iran honest. And as a lot of people will ask, why doesn't the US just turn the place into a parking lot, decimate everything? Looks like the goal right now is to open the strait, expand that Omani corridor, establish influence there, and play the long game. What does that mean? It means reciprocating. It means, oh, Iran, you're going to tap a few targets? Cool. We're going to tap a few of your targets too. A few love taps just to remind you who actually controls the sky in the Strait of Hormuz. The only reason the US isn't completely decimating the leadership is because they're trying to get Iran to the table to make some sort of deal. And that brings us to the global roundup section, my friends. Let's talk about what's going on in Ukraine. It looks like even more drone strikes last night, targeting missile production facilities in Moscow and across Russia, striking down Moscow's ability to sustain the war. Just insane. At the end of the day, Moscow now looks to be on their heels in this drone campaign as Ukraine continues to ramp things up. And then China has done a 40-day deployment of their aircraft carrier. I know that doesn't sound like a ton, but they're basically extending the endurance of their carrier every single month, trying to get it to stay at sea longer and longer. They're decades behind the US Navy when it comes to the logistics and resupply missions of keeping carriers out at sea indefinitely, but it's not nothing. And that brings us to the 40 chess strategic analysis section, my friends. Senator Graham said something interesting. He said, if this diplomatic effort fails, President Trump is going to take the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to run it. So what would that actually look like? It likely means a lot of unmanned underwater vehicles, having the ability to patrol the strait from underneath and above. You'd need air assets, advanced drones, AI-controlled swarm drones, expendable drones, stealthy drones that can jam radar sites, and directed energy weapons that can basically create a little iron dome of their own over the top of the Strait of Hormuz. Do I think that's going to happen anytime soon? Not necessarily. The strategy right now looks like tit for tat with Iran. Keep them on their heels. Keep these mafia bosses knowing that if they strike these ships, there will be consequences. And that's what you have to keep doing if you want to keep the waterway open, get the economy going, get gas prices down, and make sure oil companies aren't price gouging because there are rumors of that happening right now too. Looks like oil companies are being put on notice to get the price of gas down to match the flow of oil that's now flowing through the strait. More oil is flowing through the strait right now than has been since the conflict started. So those gas prices should be coming down. What do you guys think? What happens here in the next few days? Would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Go follow me on X, follow me on Instagram, and I'm putting that link in the description for information about our energy drinks, our merch, and to join our email list so you know whenever content drops and don't miss a thing. Join that email list in the link below. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. This is Ryan, also known as Max Afterburner, signing off.